You know, I mean, I may be an employee of the city, but I work for the people. And my bosses have heard me say this. This community has heard me say this. I'd rather lose my job than not do my job. And
well, I have to say this. You're probably the most popular police chief we've ever had.
Oh, thanks.
Since I've lived here 20 years.
Yeah, well.
Talking about these guys on your staff, they don't like you coming to this show?
No, actually, they like me coming here. And crazy, Anthony Hippolito, there's one of your fans. He wanted to come by and say hi and meet you.
Uh-oh, he's going to get on a FEMA list now.
That's all right. That's all right.
Well, I know I'm not living up to what he thought he'd see here. I'm just depressed watching this happen. So, I mean, I just hope that police chiefs around the country will uphold the Bill of Rights and Constitution.
Well, I can tell you I spent a lot of time. I meet with my colleagues in the major state chiefs meetings around the country, and it would take a lot for us to say we wanted the military to be patrolling our streets. It would take the sky will actually literally have to be falling before we would say that. So we are peace officers. That's why we write peace officer on our ID cards to remind our officers that we're all about keeping the peace, maintaining peace, restoring peace, and securing the peace here. I think that American law enforcement, although not perfect and not equally as good around the country, you know, people like to say we're a bad police department officer. I like to tell them, you know, the reason you think we're bad is you have no point of reference. I'll take them on field trips where I can tell you they'll be very thankful to be policed in the city.
Oh, I'll tell you where it's bad is New York City.
Well, I'm not going to tell you which ones I think, but I will tell you that I tell my critics, if you have no point of reference, you can't appreciate what you truly have. I believe... Have you
been around New York cops?
I've been all over the country.
I mean, some of them call in and some of them are nice.
Oh,
but
they've got some...
But, I mean, you talk about just generally... Yeah. I mean, it's literally like gang members in uniforms.
Well, I mean, they've got a lot of good police officers, just like I'm sure there's some that aren't.
Yeah, but you know that's what you're talking about. New York is unbelievable. I've talked to Austin police that have asked directions and been told, do I look like a phone book?
Well, yeah, I've experienced some of that before from some departments. But I always tell people that take a look at who the Department of Justice, at some of the departments that are under investigation and end up in consent decrees. Those are bad departments. We were investigated for 4 years as a department because the community demanded an investigation. We provided everything. They took a look at us up and down, side to side. And despite the fact that that same Department of Justice has placed other police agencies under consent decrees because they found patterns and practices of unconstitutional policing or use of excessive force, I'm very proud of the fact that our department withstood that scrutiny, that we actually embraced the scrutiny, that we actually considered the DOJ as an extra set of eyes and an opportunity for us to do better. And I really believe that now in 2011, quickly approaching 2012, we're a better department as a result of going through that process. And I can say with a straight face that I believe the police department is better today than it was in 2007 before I got here.
Well, I have to agree, but I still don't like the police taking blood.
I know, but you know what? You've been around, you know, you say you're public enemy number one. Have we ever taken your blood?
No.
Have we ever stopped you and taken you to jail?
No.
Okay, there you have it. If you obey the law, if you don't drink and drive, you don't have to worry about us. Quite frankly, when you sign up for your driver's license, you write implied consent that you agree to take.
No, I understand all that. I'm just saying that, you know, looking at all this, well, I mean, what you just said, though, the Department of Justice, I happen to know, and it's covered in this film, A Noble Lie with the Survivors, that the head of the Justice Department was the deputy head of the Justice Department and was intimately involved covering up this false flag terror event. Okay, Chief? I
haven't seen that.
This is a new documentary. I'm selling it. I didn't make it, but I'm in it. The point is that Holder got caught running a false flag. He got caught shipping guns into Mexico to blame it on the Second Amendment. And even when he got caught, he tried to use it against the Second Amendment. Yeah. I mean, I've interviewed the police involved in Oklahoma City who saw the feds. I've interviewed the people that saw the feds planting the bombs. Okay, the feds blew up Oklahoma City. And that's what I'm telling you. The Justice Department came down here to make sure we were good. We'll be right back.
Solar power.
Listen, well, Chief Art Acevedo is our guest, and he's been nice to come in. He's going to go in and do the nightly news with me this evening, but I'm going to tape it and then air it next week, so we're going to have a double dose today, kind of space it out. And it's important for us to talk to the police, and it's important for us to talk to the military, because as we've documented today, the foreign banks that have conquered Europe, they now admit that through fraud, have conquered us. And they want to try to use this country as an engine of this new world order. And so we need to talk to the police, bottom line, because the system does want to create a separation between the police and population. I know for a long time policing was thin blue line, kind of, we got to stick together. The public doesn't care about us. I have noticed that you have tried to reverse that, and a lot of police chiefs aren't. So basically, in closing, where did you come from? I mean, how did you become the Austin police chief? What formed you? And why are you trying to actually have the police interface with the public and not have that separation? Because I see a lot of departments actually want that.
Well, I think because, my background, my communist background from a totalitarian government, I really see, I think policing is a big, important part of democracy and of freedom. We have to do it right. And I think in order for us to be successful as police officers, we have to have the trust and support and cooperation of the community that we serve. And so I spend a lot of hours every week trying to build that trust and support. And one of the things I think people realize about me is that we're not always going to agree on everything, but I think that most people know that my heart's in the right place, and that's important. Yeah,
well, certainly spoken from the heart there. What about you got cut off by the break, Chief, when I was bringing up the Justice Department, our little friendly Oklahoma City bombers, and, of course, that's quite a claim, but I can prove it. But, I mean, Mr. Holder's been caught shipping the guns into Mexico and caught perjuring himself. So how are they going to come down to Austin and basically, check under our fingernails?
Well, the bottom line is that they have found unconstitutional practices or practices in other cities where they've actually sued police departments to do better. And
that's like when the police department's the Ku Klux Klan or something.
Oh, well, no.
In the 60s.
The city of L.A. was put under a consent decree. New Orleans, I believe, is already in a consent decree. I think that Miami, a while back, got sued. I'm not sure which departments, but I know there have been quite a few around the country. So the bottom line is, it's not like they come and just rubber stamp local police agencies. It's kind of. So I'm proud of the fact that we were able to withstand that scrutiny, because I think that although we're not perfect as an organization, the collective heart of our department is good. We have good people, and we're all trying to do the right thing.
But I get federal oversight, but then the states more and more have no oversight. How do we used to, back when we had that, our states elected the senators, the legislatures did, and they got rid of that with the 17th Amendment. So how do we have a check and balance on the feds?
Well, I think that we all have to pay attention to what's going on. I mean, I'll be honest with you, one of the things I think has really been tough for this country is that we've carved up congressional districts so they're all safe for either the left, the D's or the R's, but they're all safe. The majority of Americans were pragmatic people. We like to find the middle ground, and so I think that one of the things that has made it challenging for us as Americans is that, when you don't have to answer to the voters because you're in a safe seat, you get to have extreme views, and you don't have to be pragmatic, and you don't have to try to find that common ground with everybody. And so I think one of the things that I would like to see as an American is to have congressional districts that are...
Tell you what, finish your statement. Back in 1 minute. We'll be right back. We got to do 5 more minutes of it. All right, I got to run over there and get you in the TV interview area because you got to leave in like 15 minutes. But I didn't want you to be cut off there. Police Chief Acevedo. Then we'll go back to the rebroadcast from the first hour with the FEMA camps in America now being manned. They're now activating them. That shows you they're getting ready to really implode things. Just incredible information. But we're here, talking to the Austin Police Chief. And you were finishing up a point.
The point is we're trying to do the right thing. That's it.
No, but you were talking about the legislative districts.
Oh, yeah. That part. I feel that, personally, I like to see every congressional district be competitive. That way that it's a lot easier to, when we're not happy, get rid of people if we're not happy with their performance.
What do you think about the two-party dictatorship?
Well, that's part of the problem when they divide up the Congress where they're safe districts for both parties. That's when I think it makes it a little bit more challenging for our voices to be heard.
What do you think of Ron Paul?
I like some of the things he has to say, some of the things I agree with, some of the things I don't, but he's fun to watch.
In closing, I haven't talked to you since the Joe Stack thing, and that was certainly a tragedy, but what was it like being at that event?
Well, the media wanted to turn that into, they wanted me to use a terrorist, this is a terrorist thing so we can we can scare the heck out of everybody. And my number one goal that day was we figured out that it appeared to be one person that was angry. That was my cell phone. Somebody's texting me. I'm sorry, I forgot to put it on.
Oh, I don't care.
It
made me think, where's my cell phone?
Once we figured out early on in that investigation, it appeared to be an isolated incident. I felt that my number one responsibility was to ensure and reassure Americans they didn't have to worry about a bunch of little small planes going all over the country crashing into buildings.
Yeah. Well, I do have a love-hate relationship with you because you're a nice guy. You come in, you make a lot of good points. You're charismatic. You have a good vibe. I don't feel like you're a bad guy when I'm around you. I'm not here to, like, Ram Poobah judging you. It's just that you don't have that normal, fake authoritarian thing that a lot of police chiefs try to put on. It's just, but I did notice that the media did try to get you to turn it into a fear-mongering, Al-Qaeda's under every table, let's get hysterical. And actually, if that would have gotten hyped up bigger, copycats probably would have started doing it.
And I know that some people tried. I got some criticism because they said, had that been a Middle Eastern person, I would have termed it terrorism. And I can tell you, just like I told some of these advocacy groups, that absolutely not. It had nothing to do with race. It was basically, you call it whatever you want, but I'm not going to use a term.
Well, he went postal with an airplane.
He went postal with an airplane. He was angry at the Catholic Church. He was angry at his own family. He burnt down his own house. This man was angry at the world. And he used the word terrorism that day. It would have created a lot of anxiety for a lot of Americans, and I wasn't about to do that when I knew it was an isolated incident by one crazy guy who went postal.
Well, that's certainly good news that you did that. Rob Dew has been in a lot of bands, and actually Joe Stack was years ago in a band, and he said the guy was really nice. But
I've heard that.
But didn't really talk.
Right.
He said he was nice, showed up, did a good job playing the music.
Yeah.
Is Janet Reno sending you a text message? And
oh boy, I'm getting some interesting texts for being on here. I'm glad I turned it on.
When the feds were here, I said, hey, I'm friendly. Acevedo's been on the show. And they said, he also goes on the Trailer Park Show. That's an actual quote.
Oh, I went there once.
Well, they're nice guys, but the point is the FBI knew that. And I was like...
You know what?
They're like, do you watch that?
It's a free country. It's a free country.
That actually happened. Hey, what are you going to do with your tar and feather kit?
I'm going to put it on you right now before we leave.
No, I think you should, like... For Halloween, wear a big diaper on 6th Street and put this on your back.
Look, Jones, I already have enough people that don't like me. Don't give anybody any ideas.
We can let the other officers tar and feather you. All right. Acevedo, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. All right. Good to see you. Happy holidays.
Hey, thank you. All right, we're going to interview him on the TV next. We can get him wrangled in there. God bless you, folks. Big news coming up on the FEMA camps. We'll be back tonight, 7 o'clock Central, prisonplanet.tv. Be sure and join us there. Great job to the crew.